Spider back again in the kitchen with another tasty video for you. Today we are going to be making some oh so delicious soft molasses cookies. They're really easy. The yield is about 3 dozen and they are so soft and so scrumptious, and I can't wait to show you. And as per usual, all of the ingredients are going to be in the description box down below. And on top of that, there is a variation that I came up with that I think makes them even better, if that's possible. So, without further ado, let's get started. Hello again. All right, so I've got all of my ingredients set and ready to go. As per usual, yes, the ingredients are going to be in the description box, and let's get to it. All right, so first thing you're going to need is 1 cup of packed brown sugar. I didn't have any dark brown, so I'm using light brown. Works just fine for our purposes. There we go. So that's 1 cup of brown sugar. Then you're going to need 1 cup, which is 2 sticks of butter. I'm using unsalted because there is a little bit of salt in the recipe. Now, I did throw these in the microwave for about 15 seconds after defrosting them from the freezer so that they should be nice and soft. So there's that. That's 2 sticks of butter. Then we also need 1/4 of a cup of molasses. And it said for, again, dark molasses. However, I didn't see whether it was dark or not on the bottle, so I found, molasses. And yes, beware, this stuff is super duper sticky, even more than maple syrup, okay, if that can be believed. And it just smells so rich. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but it almost smells like a cross between like maple syrup with like a dash of soy sauce in it. I don't know why that is, but go figure. All right, so that was 1/4 of a cup of molasses. Then we also need 1 egg, which I already pre-cracked. There we go. And we also need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. There we are. Okie dokie. And then we get to mix this up. Now, if you have a stand mixer, an electric mixer, more power to you. Me, I like to do things by hand. It may take a little bit longer, but I find it's really, really gratifying. So I am just going to mix this up by hand until everything is nice and thoroughly mixed together. Doesn't really take that long. Now also, as far as softening the butter, you don't want to put it in the microwave and completely melt it. No, I would not suggest that. But just soft enough so that it will be nice and mushy. Totally works. And at this point, it almost looks like pumpkin pie filling. Doesn't smell like it, but kind of looks like it. All right, so this is just about done. Didn't take too long. Not long at all. All right, so now we are going to swap over to our dry ingredients. All right, so for the dry ingredients, we're starting off with 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, already pre-measured. And then to this, going to add 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Now I already used my whole teaspoon measure, so I'm going to use the half here. All right, having slight issue. There we go. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 half teaspoons makes 2 teaspoons, so that works. All right, and then going to have a half of a teaspoon of salt. I'm just using regular table salt. There we go. Okay. Now, here is the part where I decided to deviate from the original recipe, which says to use 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of ginger. Well, I like chai. I love chai spice very, very much. And I found a really great recipe for creating a mix. Yes. And it has cinnamon and it has ginger in it. When I first made this, it filled up most of the jar. It does have a pretty good yield to it. It's 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of ginger, so it has the cinnamon and the ginger in it already. But it also has 1 tablespoon of cardamom, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of cloves, and a half of a teaspoon of black pepper. Now, I've used this not just in this recipe before, but also I put it in with my coffee grounds when I'm dripping, my brew. Sometimes I'll put it into sugar cookies or muffins or pancakes. This stuff is awesome. I wouldn't recommend making tea with it unless if you have a really, really good strainer, because it's all ground, it's all powdered. So as far as baking recipes, this is awesome. I'm also going to put this in the description box as well. So because in the original recipe it called for 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of ginger, I'm going to put 2 teaspoons worth of this mix. And as much as I like, pardon me, as much as I like cinnamon and ginger, I like this a little bit more because it has more of a well-rounded nuance to it. So I need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. So then I'm going to give this a good mix before entering it into my wet stuff. So let me just mix this up together real quick. Make it semi-homogenized. And it smells so good. And I thought that this would be a great recipe because we are approaching the holidays. And when I think of the fall, I think chai spice, So if you want to make these for your holiday get-togethers, do so because they are awesome. The yield is good, and you can make them in advance because, they stay soft for a really long time. All right, so then going to mix this together. And make sure that this is completely homogeneous. It does not take long at all. Also, because we didn't completely melt the butter, I really don't find it necessary to chill the dough. That's just my personal opinion. The cookies don't spread out that dramatically. when baking. And it comes together really fast, as you can see. Now, of course, if you want to, you could pop this in the fridge for however long, but it's not like a liquidy dough. It's a soft dough, but it's not so liquidy that you need to. Okay, and we are just about set for the next step. Give me a moment and I will be right back. Alrighty, so now for the last step for making our cookies. We have our dough all ready to go. Also, I have a small bowl of just regular white granulated sugar. I would say it's optional, but I think it's awesome sauce. And we are going to get started with our fabulous handy dandy cookie scoop, and we have our cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. It is one of my favorite things in the kitchen. I would strongly recommend it. And on top of that, we have the oven preheating to, I believe it's 325. Let me just double check. Yep, 325 preheating right now, which is good because this is going to take me a while. Basically, just getting a nice scoop of our dough. So I would say this is roughly a tablespoon-ish. And then just roll it around in your sugar. Now, if you really want to go overkill, which you totally could, you could do a cinnamon and sugar mix for your rolling. I don't think that would be necessary considering the spice that we have in here as well. So after that, just pop it onto your cookie sheet and you are all set to go. Now, one cookie sheet will fit about 12 of these comfortably. So I need I need like a good 3 cookie sheets in order to do the entire batch. Not a problem, just be aware, because I've got 2 cookie sheets that I absolutely love, and I have to go into the reserves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work up this batch and then going to pop them in the oven. Like I said, it's at 325, so I'm going to pop them in the oven for about 15 minutes. And then when they're done, you want to let them cool on the cookie sheet for a bit. You don't want them to fall apart on you. And then transfer them to a wire rack. So I'm going to be I am going to be busy making these little guys up for a bit, but I will be right back and show you what we got. All right, I'll see you in a bit. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes at 325 and my cookies are ready. Well, that is to say my first batch. Oh, here we go. Ooh, don't they look lovely? They look so lovely, so scrummy. Absolutely love it. Now, I have a couple more batches to do, but I'm going to let these get cool-ish. I'm going to let them sit and set, and then I'm going to put them onto a cookie rack to cool out even more, and then we are going to do the taste test, which of course is my favorite part. But before I do that, I want to put my next batch in. Got sort of an assembly line going on here. All right, set my timer for another 15 minutes. Shaboom. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna let these cool down and I will see you in a bit for the taste test. See you there. Alrighty, so now for the moment of truth. I finished baking all of my cookies. I set them out on a cookie rack to cool. We're good to go. My favorite time of these videos, the taste test. So this is completely at room temperature, and I want to show you the breakage. There's no crispiness, it's not crunchy, it's not brittle, it's got this really nice soft texture. Now for the test. Correction, slight crunch around the edges, but overall, really soft, very nice, moist. Now, as far as the flavor, because with this variation I did the chai spice, I would say it's a little bit more well-rounded. It has perhaps a little bit more nuance to it. I'm even tempted to perhaps add, instead of 2 teaspoons, perhaps even 3, to make it a little bit more noticeable. It's subtle, but it's very nice. I like it a lot. So good. So what I'm going to do is, now that they're nice and cool, I'm going to keep them in an airtight tin, and I am going to spoil those that I know. Yes, probably going to bring some into work on Tuesday, and well, because right now I'm filming this on the weekend. But yeah, I'm probably going to bring some of these into work. I think that they are perfect for this time of year because they have a very autumnal kind of flavor to them. And if you want to make them for the holidays, awesome sauce. Again, you can make them in advance and they stay good for quite a while. So that being said, I hope that you liked today's video. If you did, please give a little thumbs up button down below and let me know, have you made something similar to this recipe? What was different? What was the same? What was your experience? What sort of variations did you have when you made something like this? One thing though that I was considering, it might be a bit of an overkill, on top, do a powdered sugar and milk icing drizzle on top. That could be really good. I think it might be a little bit much, but it's something to consider, just adding a little bit of extra pizzazz. If I did that, I would probably be disinclined to roll the balls of cookie dough in the sugar. It might be a bit much, but I love them. So again, tell me what you think in the comments section, and you know what to do until next time, right? I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay making fun, fabulous, tasty treats in the kitchen, and stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now, everybody, and have a great day, and a tasty one too.